What is also true is that the occupation and what's happening to Palestinians is unbearable. There are people right now who are dying who have nothing to do with what Hamas did.
That was former President Barack Obama weighing in on the brutal airstrikes that have been killing innocent civilians in the Gaza Strip, drawing attention to the unbearable deaths of these innocent Palestinians. Now, Obama made these statements during an appearance on Pod Save America. Here's more of what he had to say.
What Hamas did was horrific, and there's no justification for it. And what is also true is that the occupation and what's happening to Palestinians is unbearable. If you want to solve the problem, then you have to take in the whole truth. And you then have to admit nobody's hands are clean, that all of us are complicit to some degree. I look at this and I think back, what could I have done during my presidency to move this forward as hard as I tried? I've got the scars to prove it. But there's a part of me that's still saying, well, was there something else I could have done? That's the conversation we should be having. Not just looking backwards, but looking forward.
Now, typically when a former president comes out and says something that seems provocative or courageous, I'll be critical of them because it's like, hey, where was that courageous attitude when you were in charge? But to be fair to Obama, he actually had a notoriously frosty relationship with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu because he was one of the few presidents American presidents who was willing to demand that Netanyahu pump the brakes when it came to illegal settlements and when it came to any brutality toward Palestinian civilians. And he also bumped heads quite a bit with Netanyahu when he secured the Iran nuclear deal, which I'll give you more details about in just a moment. Netanyahu did not want an Iran nuclear deal. Netanyahu has always been thirsty for war with Iran, and of course not to fight that war with just the IDF, but to pressure the United States to involve its own military in that war. So here's a video just kind of summarizing some of the issues they had when Obama was in charge.
Analysts say President Obama and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu despise each other.
There's a fundamental sense of mistrust.
Former State Department insider Aaron David Miller calls the relationship the most dysfunctional ever, each side thinking the other is ignoring their interests.
I think the president looks at Netanyahu. He doesn't feel that there's much respect for American interests. And the prime minister looks at the president and considers him bloodless and insensitive when it comes to really understanding Israeli needs.
Remember that supposed to be private exchange between the then French president and Obama in 2011. Sarkozy saying, I cannot bear Netanyahu, he's a liar. Obama responding, but I have to deal with him even more often than you.
But look, it wasn't just Obama who had deep issues with Netanyahu. So did Donald Trump.
You've probably heard that Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, or Bibi as he's called, were best buds, that it was a bromance. Well, turns out that's bull. By the end of his presidency, Donald Trump couldn't stand Netanyahu. He thought Netanyahu was disloyal and ungrateful for everything he had done for him. By the time I talked to Trump in April 2021, he was over Bibi.
I haven't spoken to him since, right? I didn't talk to him.
That's right, Donald Trump said F him when it came to Benjamin Netanyahu. And one more clip that's really important because Trump disclosed that he did not believe that Netanyahu was ever really serious about pursuing peace. Let's watch.
What a lot of people don't know is that actually in the first year of his presidency, and Trump told me this, his relationship with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas was very, very good.
And it was almost like a father. I mean, he was so nice. Couldn't have been nicer. Now, the world and me, before I met with both of them, I thought it was the exact opposite. I thought the Palestinians were impossible, and the Israelis would do anything to make peace and a deal. I found that not to be true.
And I find it very interesting and actually kind of surprising that, like Obama and Bill Clinton, Trump also came to the conclusion that Bibi was not sincere about wanting peace with the Palestinians.
I think he just tapped us along. They just tap, tap, tap. I don't think Bibi ever wanted to make peace.
I think Trump was right about that. I think Obama was right about Netanyahu's lack of concern with establishing a more peaceful environment between Palestinians and Israelis in that region.
Yeah, almost everybody who deals with Netanyahu thinks he's disgusting. One of the most immoral liars that the world has seen in a long time. So it's such a, look, as a lot of our world leaders are a scar upon our nations, like Trump was to America and Dick Cheney was to America, and Bush, and Erdogan, Turkey, Netanyahu, Israel, Putin, Russia. These are all stains on these countries. Is Putin, the bloodthirsty Putin, really a representative of the Russian people? I hope not, and I don't think so at all. Okay, and I don't think Netanyahu is a good representative of the Israeli people. Everyone loathes him for good reason. All he cares about is himself. He has no morality at all, and he's willing to kill as many innocent civilians as any terrorist. Let's be honest about it. Let's be honest about it. So he's now killed what, 7 times as many Palestinian civilians as the leader of Hamas has. So those are facts. We say, oh, oops, it was an accident. It was an accident that I killed 10,000 civilians. No one thinks it's an accident. Only like people who are just obsessed with defending Israel, no matter what, would say that. No rational human being would thinks that all 10,000 civilians was just an accident, just collateral damages. We were getting the 13 Hamas guys. Okay, so one, I want to give credit to Barack Obama. I often criticize him for not coming out and making statements, being comfortable in his home. Oh, I'm an ex-president. Oh, I don't get to say anything, right? No. We could use your moral clarity from time to time. And here, credit where credit is due. Thank you. You see that now? Everybody's talking about what Obama said and how even Obama is saying, how many civilians are we gonna kill? See, we need that moral clarity from time to time. So thank you, President Obama. Okay, now Trump, it breaks up into 2 different things. We covered that story before. Trump is bitter at Netanyahu for a lot of personal stuff, not backing him on the 2020 election, which is absurd. He thought he didn't thank him enough, etc. And on that one though, that's only half absurd because Trump did everything for Netanyahu.
Yes, very true.
And he moved our embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, which Netanyahu wanted. He got out of the Iran peace deal, which Netanyahu wanted. He killed the top Iranian general. Netanyahu was thrilled about that. Trump almost started a war for Netanyahu, and Netanyahu still was like, who cares? Me. Okay, ironically, him and Trump are a good couple that way. They don't care about any other human being other than themselves. But the substantive things that Trump said, that's the second half. Those are very real and very honest. And you heard it for yourself right there. Whether you love Trump or you hate Trump, there's no question that the second half of what he said is absolutely true. Netanyahu has never wanted peace. He profits from war. He profits from death. And he would rather, just like Dick Cheney here in America and on with all these different warmongers in these different countries, they think war and innocent people being murdered is helpful to my political career. So they have no interest in peace. Netanyahu has never wanted peace. He's a monumental liar, and the Israeli people should fire him immediately. And for God's sake, and for Israel's sake, let alone the Palestinians, do peace. Peace right away. 2-state solution instantly. That way the world can heal and the world can finally, wouldn't it be amazing if the world accepted Israel and said, okay, you're not occupying people anymore. You're not imprisoning and oppressing people anymore. Welcome to civilization. And to the nations of the world that have agreed to certain moral rules. And Israel, to this moment, run by right-wingers like Netanyahu, say, no, we demand to oppress Palestinians, I guess, forever, literally forever. We demand it. And if anyone disagrees, they're anti-Semitic. Yeah. That stuff's not working at all anymore. In the world, in America, anytime anybody says that now, it's a laughing stock, total joke. Oh, you're using that stupid old excuse? And by the way, it's such a sick thing to do because there's real anti-Semitism in the world, and it's a giant problem here in America. And then now you want to use it for political tricks so you can kill more Palestinian civilians? Nah, that's not gonna fly.
Thanks for watching. If you become a member, you get to watch all this ad-free, except for, of course, this ad. Still, hit the join button below.